Welcome to the Draft Professor, everybody. My name is Jim. I am joined today with Brandon. Brandon, this is your first time on a Draft Professor podcast. I would like to say welcome to the channel. How are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm excited to talk some prospects as, we're getting closer and closer once free agency on Monday, Tuesday, next week. Like it's all going to be draft stuff moving forward in the next month and a half.
Yeah, we've had a lot of news this week. What do you think San Francisco needs to do in this upcoming draft to make you and the fan base happy?
They need to do a lot of things. They play in a division where there's two 12-plus win teams probably next year, at least 10-plus, even if Seattle takes an extreme step back with Kubiak leaving offensively and they have a Super Bowl hangover, they're still going to win 10 games on their defense. The Niners have holes at receiver, edge, D-line, and at safety. And offensive line at their second guard position. So they have a lot, and this is a pivotal draft for them. And I think, this is John Lynch's, I wouldn't say his job, and I'm not trying to call for anybody's job, but like he hasn't had a blue chip prospect that he's drafted. And, to his credit, they traded 3 firsts for Trey Lance. So he didn't have first or second round picks for a few years, but he hasn't hit on a prospect in the top few rounds for half a decade now. So this is jury's thought on Mykel Williams, jury's thought on Ricky Pearsall, but I want to see him really fill the needs for this team and see if they can close that gap between Seattle, the Rams, and them.
Yeah, so I'm a Bills fan. I could have said the same exact thing about Brandon Beane. He hit on Josh Allen, but what else has he done in round one that has altered the course of the franchise? And then round two is 50-50.
You could argue. I was really mad because I like the Bills. I'm a huge Josh Allen fan. I'm a Niners fan, but I like rooting for the Bills in the AFC. And I was really mad that he gave up a second for DJ Moore. Like, I like DJ Moore. That's a lot for DJ Moore at this point in his career.
It netted to be a third, which is about what Amari Cooper was traded for. And there's been a few other receivers that were traded for a third. Yeah. So I think the issue specifically with the DJ Moore trade is if you're trading a third to pick up that big of a contract, should you really have traded the third? But the other thing is, how do I want to say it with the DJ Moore? So Joe Brady coached DJ Moore in Carolina.
Yep.
Brandon Beane was a scout for Carolina when they drafted him. They're comfortable with the player. And if you have to choose, take the large contract in a trade or go in the open market for Romeo Doubs or Alec Pierce.
Yeah.
I think you trade a third round pick, you get a starter, and then you solve your problems tomorrow.
Yeah, I still think they should go receiver round 1, by the way.
I still think they do as well. So,
yeah.
Okay, well, we are going to get this mock draft started. So we're going to be using the Draft Professor Simulator. And anybody watching, if you haven't used the Draft Professor Simulator before, it is interactive. So it's going to learn who Brandon likes for the 49ers. And if we do enough mock drafts, the players Brandon likes will be the players that you are mock drafting again. So we're going to go San Francisco. There's something right here called the First Round Fanatic Challenge. So we'll check that. And Brandon is going to take us through 5 one-round 49er mocks. And the simulator is just going to go one after the other. So you don't actually have to hit like 5 buttons. You just go in one. So I'll go through everybody in round 1 so people can see like how the simulator is going. So right now it's Mendoza, Reese, Maui Noah, Bain, Tate, Freeling, Love, Styles, Downs, Bailey, Delane, Mesidor, Lemon, Fano, Sadiq, Tyson, Woods, McCoy, Falk, Allen, Boston, Ioane, Proctor, Lomu, Banks, Concepcion.
Yeah.
Okay. So the board falls like this. Where do you go first for San Francisco?
Well, I think obviously it depends what they do when free agency, when the legal tampering period opens on Monday. But I do expect them to sign Romeo Dobbs again. That's just what I'm hearing from people I talk to. I don't think they sign Alec Pierce. Still, they would have a need at receiver. This board works out perfectly for them. I can't see a scenario where if Omar Cooper Jr. falls to 27, that the 49ers don't take him. He is a perfect Kyle Shanahan receiver. He's a yards after catch guy. So I really like Omar Cooper there.
Okay. Simulator immediately did another mock. And again, these go fast, right? But in this one, the simulator will snipe Omar Cooper Jr. from you 4 picks before you're on the clock. So there was a player that dropped, and Philadelphia actually was picking Proctor in the last one. So that's why he's available now and he wasn't available before. So what do you think San Francisco does here?
Yeah, in this specific scenario, I like Max I from Arizona State. I think he can be a franchise tackle, and they obviously have a need there if Williams ends up leaving.
So this is really unique in that this is the first time, to the best of my knowledge, that you've used the simulator.
Yes.
Your guys are at the top. That doesn't happen very often.
Yeah. I like both of them. I still like guys here too. In this scenario, I see Casey Concepcion from Texas A&M, another yak guy who would fit in Kyle's system.
Okay, and I know this account on Twitter. I know that I've interacted with it from the Draft Professor account. So I'm just going to call you MLS. I don't know your name, so I'm going to call you MLS. Thank you for stopping by. Now, he said he would have taken Lomu there. And he just said, yeah, that's his least favorite. Okay. So
yeah. Here I would take Caleb Lomu. I agree. I don't love the board here. I don't love it here. There's only 2 players left that I really like there. So
okay. Oh. So in the 4th, or excuse me, in the 5th and final one, Cooper, Ahinakor, Concepcion, Lomu have all been sniped before your pick.
Yeah. Yeah, Sadiq falls there. It's not going to happen in real life. That'd be awesome. I mean, I guess it's possible. Cooper DeJean fell to the Eagles in round 2 on draft day a few years ago. So theoretically, it is possible. Here, I am going to go Denzel Boston. I just think that they have 2 tight ends. I like Jake Tonjes more than people think. Denzel Boston's a great receiver.
Okay. So it's interesting because I did one of these earlier. Sadiq actually fell to round 2 in it. Wow. So the grades in Sadiq, and again, like I podcast with 85 people. So there's 85 people that are part of the Draft Professor community, right? Not everybody is round 1 on Sadiq, or like, so if we look at like landing spots, he's not going to go to Kansas City at 9. Right? Like they need a tight end, probably. They could use him, but he's not going to go at 9. So you can see, like in this mock, the Buccaneers do need a tight end. So 15, I think, is the highest that Sadiq can go.
Yeah, I would agree.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe the Jets. So some of the Jets draft professors want Sadiq here, but usually at 16, there's a better player than Sadiq. So they would consider Sadiq at 16, but there's almost always a better player there.
Yeah. Panthers.
I've had some Vikings people tell me that Sadiq to the Vikings they said Hawkinson is coming to the end of his career. But I don't think you take a tight end when you still have, you don't take a tight end in round 1 when you still have Hawkinson.
Yeah. I agree.
Right?
Panthers are interesting. I think he could go there too.
Correct. That's a frequent spot for him.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't go to Carolina, the next spot would be Philly.
Yep.
He's not going to go at 25 or 26.
Absolutely not. Yep.
Right? So there's only like 4 realistic landing spots. So I actually think Sadiq getting all the way to 29 is very possible.
That'd be a dream for Kansas City fans.
And it would be a dream if he got to 30 for the Denver fans. So,
oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So 4 A pluses for your first podcast, Brandon. I'm going to tell you that that's really good. So A pluses are when you pick the highest player, right? And Boston is an A, and the entire grading on this is group think. So this just means that you think like the other 49ers users that have used the simulator. That's all that means, is that you think alike. That doesn't mean that you're correct. That doesn't mean that you're wrong. It just means that you're thinking like somebody else.
Yeah. I think collectively 49ers fans kind of know the needs that we have, you know? So yeah.
Okay. So now we're going to get, first of all, like Brandon, that was your first time doing this, but I mean, you talked through it. It took us 10 minutes. You feeling okay?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited for, round 2, because I think there's a lot of prospects that maybe not the entire fan base knows, yet.
Yep.
And excited to talk those through.
Yep. So we're going to do a second round Fanatic challenge for the 49ers. This is 10 unique 2-round drafts, usually around mock 7 or 8. Sometimes somebody's going to say, I don't like this. That's the challenge part of it, and I'm here for all of it. So, Brandon, in round 1, you can pick anybody you want. If Omar Cooper Jr. is there every time, you could pick him every time. If you want to mix it up to talk about more players, what you do in round 1 is completely up to you. In round 2, you will not be able to select the same player twice.
Got it. Yeah, I'll start off with Omar Cooper here. I just think it's such a perfect fit, and if he's available the next time, I'll go in a different direction. But I think he's a perfect Kyle receiver.
So when you get to round 2, you see some edges close to the top. So that's what people have picked before you. But yeah. Who are you thinking that you want to see if they're there?
Yeah, I think a guy. This is an interesting scenario. If they do go wide receiver in round 1, I think edge is probably the clear pick. I want to see what linemen are available, interior and OT as well. So we got, offensive line. Let's see.
So Golbin, Slaughter, Parker, Logan Jones are all here. Rutledge is here. Casey is here.
I think Rutledge is definitely a guy that they'll consider with this pick. That may seem a reach right now, but I think if you watch Rutledge's tape, I personally think he's a Pro Bowl guard. I like him a lot, probably more than consensus. In this scenario, though, I do think there's a guy. Can you go back to edges for a sec, please?
Tiernan's also here.
Oh, yeah. Tiernan's great. Blake Miller, maybe if he gets there, they consider him. I love Derek Moore. I really do. I mean, I think he can go round 1, and that's kind of a hotter take. I think he has an opportunity to kind of go to Seattle. I'm thinking probably beginning round 2, though, for him.
And just, again, a reminder, the simulator's interactive. So you're mock drafting against human behavior. You're not mock drafting against a big board. So I think I'm with you. I don't think Derek Moore should be getting to the back of round 2, but it is not up to me to convince others what their behavior needs to be.
For sure. All right. So here is definitely another guy I've talked to a lot of Niners people, and they think that they're going to consider here, even though Saleh left and they don't play the wide 9. Can you go down to edges I'm trying to think how high he is. Okay, there he is. I think they're going to consider Zion Young here. So I wouldn't be shocked if they go in this scenario. I like Zion Young. 8.5 sacks in Missouri. Didn't really have much help there. Great run defender, too. He has an 86.2 PFF grade against the run. So,
okay. And when you get to round 2 after taking Zion Young.
Yeah. Receivers obviously in need. I think Chris Bell makes a lot of sense here. I know he tore his ACL, so a lot of Niners fans are kind of skeptical about it, but I know that they're considering Chris Bell in round 1. If he falls to 58, I can absolutely see them picking Chris Bell.
You want Chris Bell here?
Yeah. I'm gonna pick Chris Bell here.
So we actually took Chris Bell. We do 3-round group mocks every Friday night. And Chris Bell was the pick that we did to the 49ers. And we were like, that's a Debo replacement.
Oh, yeah. He's great. I mean, if he didn't tear his ACL, I think he absolutely goes round 1. I think he still could go round 1, but I think it's more likely he goes in round 2. All right. So here, I'm gonna try something interesting here. I don't think 49ers fans are gonna like this one particularly much. I'm gonna go Caleb Banks here at 27. Switch it up. Go D line.
I like that you're mixing up who you take in round one, just giving us some different ideas.
Yeah.
Is there another wide receiver here that you like at 58 for the 49ers?
So there's a guy I think they're going to consider that I think they're higher on than consensus, and I think it's Jacoby Lane from USC. He was going into the year a better wide receiver prospect than Mekhi Lemon in a lot of people's eyes. Didn't have the greatest year, but ran a 4.48 at 6'4", 210. So I really like him a lot. Okay, here's interesting. I've taken Lomu, I've taken Cooper, I've taken.
You haven't done a 2-round where you took Lomu yet.
That's true. All right, let's take Lomu here. We'll take tackle round 1 and see what we get in round 2. See what players are on the board, because they'll need edge and wide receiver if they take tackle in round 1.
Okay.
All right.
And what the simulator's doing in round 2, if you look, Moore, Bell, Lane, your previous picks will be off the board 10 picks before you're on the clock.
Yeah, I like it. I'm interested. There hasn't been Jennings Dunker hasn't been available in round 2 yet. That's definitely a guy they like. You see the Green Bay has him right there. This one's interesting. I don't expect them to go Jacob Rodriguez here. Let's try Malachi Lawrence in this scenario. I like Malachi Lawrence a lot. He obviously had a great combine, so his tape is off the charts too.
Okay. And notice how Lomu just moved higher than Concepcion, right? Yep. So the simulator, literally, if you do a 2nd-round challenge and you want to flip the board for a team, just go in and do a 2nd-round challenge and pick the player you want to go to the top 10 times.
Yeah.
They're probably going to go to the top.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll switch it up here in this scenario. Let's go with Chris Johnson here. Get a little spicy. Go corner. I know they have a need at depth at least with their corner, especially if they trade Renardo Green. So.
Okay. So I don't know that Akis was here before.
No, he's really good too.
And I don't know that Rodriguez was here before. So as you do this, players will begin to drop, and you have to figure out, do I like the player that dropped, or am I going elsewhere?
Yeah, and I also like Blake Miller a lot, but I think they go in this scenario. If they took corner in round 1 and they wanted to help Raheem Morris and get him like a ball hawk, like Chris Johnson, athletic guy, I think they have to help out Morris again in round 2, and I think they'll go Gabe Yakis in that scenario. Who I like a lot. I don't expect him to be there at 58 on draft day. Okay, interesting. Move Terrell up the board now.
Yeah. And I don't know that Terrell had been there in every mock either.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think he's probably going to go before that if I had to guess. He is a slot guy. I don't think they need Terrell. Otherwise, I would have picked him in a previous mock. I just don't think he
So you like Johnson over Terrell?
For the 49ers system, yes. The only thing Terrell has over Johnson is Terrell fits Morris in the sense where he forces turnovers at a very high rate. I think he led the ACC in turnovers for corners. I didn't realize Steineman was available.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And again, there's a reason I'm going. If people don't pick them, they would have been on the 2nd page. So,
yeah. Let's go Dylan Steineman here. I think they'll consider Steineman and Emmanuel McNeil-Warren with that 1st-round pick. With Raheem Morris now as the DC. If Saleh was still the DC, they wouldn't consider either of those guys.
So you take Steineman and Akis, Lawrence, Lane, Bell, Moore, all sniped before you're on the clock at 58.
Yeah, this is a tough scenario. So obviously you see Kamari Ramsey, they're not going to go 2 safeties. In this scenario, let's take Blake Miller here. I like Blake Miller a lot. I just know he's a tackle, and I do think they retain Trent. I don't think they're going to let him walk, which means he's going to have to play guard next year on the Niners if they do take him before he transitions to tackle. And I just don't know if they want him to do that.
So can we, Thieneman, yeah. So Thieneman, I think last time was 16th. You see how he's moved up to 12, so he's the 12th player from the top.
Yeah.
Can we take Thieneman a couple more times?
We can.
Yep. So I want to show that he moves up.
Yeah.
So he's going to move up to the first page here, just to give everybody an idea, right? So it shows 10 players per page. He's at the top of the second page right now. I want to pick him one more time at least.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Okay. So Thieneman again in round 1. Thank you for letting me take control of your mock draft. So again, like notice this time Jeremy Bernard dropped. He wasn't here before. Do you like Bernard relative to the rest of the players?
Yeah, I think Bernard's the best there. He can play the Debo role. He's a good yards after catch guy. Like, he also, his catch radius is ridiculous. That Oklahoma game was crazy. He went off in that game in the playoff.
So if we look, okay, so Thieneman's off the board. That's why we don't see him.
Yep. Let's try something here, because this is another player I think they'll consider. Let's try Emmanuel McNeil-Warren here. Obviously, he's not on the first page, but another safety that I think moved up from 32 to 28, it looks like, from best player available.
And I'm taking a quick note here for the chat. So Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, at the time we picked him, is 60th on the board. Okay. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be a great example of how the simulator works. So that's why I was taking a note to give a demonstration at the end. Yeah, so you take Emmanuel McNeil-Warren in round 1. Cisse was not here before.
Yeah.
Thoughts on what you would do? Like Rodriguez is here. Hurst is here.
I think this is a guy they'd consider in this. There's absolutely no way in hell that they're going to take 2 DBs to start the draft. So even though I love Cisse, I'm thinking in this scenario, let's get a little crazy. This is a guy I know they like at D-line. He's an interior defensive lineman. Darrell Jackson Jr. from Florida State. I like him actually a lot. I know they're considering him in round 2. I know he's on their board. He kind of fits what they want.
Okay. So just to give an idea, so Emmanuel McNeil-Warren with just 1 pick moved from 60 to 42.
Let's take him again, see what happens. Because I think 42 is still way too low for Emmanuel McNeil-Warren in that scenario. Okay.
And like, again, this time D'Angelo Pons dropped. He wasn't here before either.
I love D'Angelo Pons, but they're not going to take back-to-back DBs. Plus, they have Upton Stout, and D'Angelo Pons and Upton Stout being 2 of your 3 corners. They're both like 5'8", so I don't know if that works.
And then Orange is here. I don't know that Orange was always here.
What wide receivers are on the board with this pick?
Great question. What do you think of Antonio Williams at the end of round 2 for the 49ers?
I know they've met with him. I would hate it. I don't like him. Personally. I mean,
I didn't mean to poke the bear. I didn't mean to. I didn't know.
I mean, he's small. I think he would get injured on the 49ers. They've struggled with skinnier receivers, which is why I don't love Concepcion as opposed to like Omar Cooper in round 1. I think a guy that they'll consider if we go back to the first page, branch is also small. Let's do Skylar Bell. I like Skylar Bell. He's 6'3", so
I like Skylar Bell in round 2. I'm glad you came on the podcast. That's a good shout out for him.
Yeah.
So if we look at safety, you can see Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. I don't remember what his number was before. It was 60, then it moved up to 42, and now it moved up to 39.
All right, let's go. This is interesting. Wow. They put Chase up to 10 on rank. That's
well, okay. But again, this is users of the simulator. So
yeah,
we have a couple of draft professors that have Chase Basantis as IOL 1.
Wow. Okay.
And one of them is retired NFL offensive lineman Jerry Ostrowski.
Yeah, I haven't seen enough tape to come with that same conclusion. I still think it's probably Ione, but like, yeah, I like him. I was just shocked to see that there are people taking him in round 1. I think he's for sure going day 2, although I don't know for sure, but that would be a steal on day 2 for the Niners, like Rutledge.
So, Ioane would be high ceiling. Basantis would be high floor.
Yeah. I would actually, you know what? Why don't we just take Basantes here? Because if they have an obvious need at their second guard position alongside Pooney, and if he's high floor, they need to protect Brock Purdy. So, like, I wouldn't hate that pick as much as other Niner fans might hate that pick.
So then you're at your round 2 board, and this is the final mock. So this is actually the 10th and final mock.
Let's do something here. Let's take Cisse because they took an interior offensive lineman, which means they can take corner there. Oh, they didn't like the Jacoby Lane pick.
This just means he was more than 32 picks from the top when you picked them.
Yeah.
You're the first one to pick Lane to the 49ers in that round. That's what that means.
I think it's the 49ers have a history of picking receivers higher than consensus. So, like, I that's why I made that pick. I'm just trying to think in the mind of John Lynch. Same with Skylar Bell. Like, it gave us a C, but like we both know Skylar Bell is a borderline first round top day 2 talent. Like,
so you are probably the first one to dress Skylar Bell in that round to the 49ers. Look at Emmanuel McNeil-Warren's grade. You see it's C the first time.
Yeah.
And then you see it's a B the second time. The more you pick them, the more they're going to move up.
Well, I'll make sure to keep using the draft professor. So, like, that the Niners take these guys more often.
We just blazed through that in less than 30 minutes. We just did 15 mock drafts in 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, it's good.
Okay, I've got one more button for you. Trying to remember 49ers draft capital. 49ers have a third and they have a fourth.
I think they have 3/4, 2 or 3/4, 1/5. They have no 6th and no 7th round picks. 1/3. So
we're gonna do some 49ers mocks. We're gonna go 4 rounds, and we're gonna flip on my baby here called Fanatic mode.
Okay.
So we're only going to do 4 because if we bumped it up to 8, we're going to be here for 45 more minutes, and we're not going to do that. But this is 4 49ers drafts that are 4 rounds each. You will not be allowed to pick the same player twice in any of the mocks.
Cool.
We got to put together 4 unique 49ers mocks.
Perfect. Fantastic. Let's see. Okay. So let's go with my consensus number 1 player here, Omar Cooper. If he's there, I believe that will be the pick. So, okay. Let's go Derek Moore, who would be my top pick here on the board.
So what are you thinking in round 3?
Well, okay. So they took receiver, they took edge. What interior offensive linemen are on the board here? Okay.
So I'm looking like Rutledge was pretty far down the board, but I think he's been taken already.
Yeah, he was taken. I don't think there's any ways behind any of these guys.
Well, but this is all user behavior, so just don't look at this as a board. Look at it as a list.
Yeah, like Matt Gublin, like I've never seen him or Golbin go before round 6. So like that's user behavior. Obviously, people are higher on him than consensus. Let's go Darrell Jackson Jr. here. We'll go D-line. Beef up the trenches.
So there is one draft professor, Owen, who has a round 2 on Golbin. There's several others that are day 2 and several others that are early day 3.
I got to start giving grades on these people. That's awesome. There's some guys like Rutledge. I have a day 2 grade on for sure.
We haven't taken him yet, so we need to make sure we take him in one of these.
Yeah, we will. I think he's a perfect 40. He's like his zone grade, I think, is like 90. So he's perfect 49ers guard too. Okay. I like this player a lot. One of my friends actually interviewed him a few weeks ago. Jude Bowery, Maj Sports, my friend who's a Niners creator. He interviewed him and he seemed very interested in going to the 49ers. And I think he's perfect. He's very versatile. So
okay. I like that. A round 3 tackle. You got 2 more round 3 picks, or round 4 picks, excuse me.
Yeah. Okay, so they need, is Michael Taffy on the board? Let's see. No, it doesn't look like
I'm
it.
going to say probably not, because there's a draft professor that has a second round grade on him,
Yeah,
and
he's
a
so
couple
good.
of others that are day
What ab-
two.
what about Bishop Fitzgerald? Yeah, he's right
Definitely.
there. Yeah, he's so good. I mean, I went to SC, so I mean, I watch all the SC games. Probably, more higher on him than consensus, but he had like a 92 coverage grade on PFF. He's a perfect safety for them.
So you haven't taken a corner yet.
No, and they will take a corner. They're also going to take a running back. We all know they always take a running back every single year. What running backs are on the board here?
Great question. So the running backs, Black is here. Robert
like-
Henry is here.
They like-
Hemby is here. And I'm highlighting the guys that I like. You might like somebody different, but
Yeah. What about what about the third page? Let's see. Yeah, none of those guys. I'm assuming Claiborne is gone.
no, he was here.
Running back.
Yeah,
Ooh,
he's
that
right
guy-
here.
That guy's so good. I want to take him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a great example. So Claiborne is 168. He will not be 168 at the end of this.
No chance.
Okay. So you made 6 picks in 4 rounds. So the simulator is just going into snipe mode. So Cooper gets sniped 3 picks before you're on the clock. What would you do here?
Yeah, let's go max high at tackle. I know some people prefer Lomu. Lomu's higher floor. I think max high is higher upside. Okay, interesting.
And then Derek Moore snipe right before your pick. Chris
Where's
Bell is
Rutledge
here.
on this board for interior offensive
He-
line? Because
he was pretty low, but
let's take him here. I think that
Cool.
they're genuinely considering Rutledge in round 2. I think he's a round 2 guy too. So
okay. And I'm dropping some of the rankings into the chat because I can give another demonstration here at the end.
sounds
Okay,
good.
so you went offensive line.
yeah,
You want to talk about some round 3 wide receivers?
yeah. I mean, we took Skylar Bell in round 2 earlier. Let's take him here in round 3.
And you would take him over Jacoby Lane?
It's close. I think the Bell, I think, can do more as a receiver. Lane is, contested catch, doesn't drop passes. Bell's probably, I don't know about how the 40 times differentiated, but I think his tape he's faster than Lane.
Okay. So Ahinakor, Rutledge, Bell, and now we're in the round 4 picks. And again, just to give you an idea, so Bowery, who you took before, has been sniped before you're on the clock.
Yep. Yeah, by the way, Niners fans would hate this draft taking 2 linemen. I love it. I'm anti how do I say it? Direction of what the 49ers have gone in the last 10 years. Like, meaning they haven't prioritized trench play. I think you look at every Super Bowl champion in the last 10 years, all of them have had elite defensive and offensive lines pretty much. So that's why I took 2 linemen there, especially with
So,
the uncertainty of Trent.
Yeah, and you haven't taken an edge. Is there an edge here that you like in round 4?
Yeah, I like Anthony Lucas a lot, but I'm trying to see, what about D lineman? Like interior D lineman who's here. Okay.
Benny, I'm
Benny's
looking.
good. I'm
and
shocked.
Corleone's here in round 4.
Yeah, he's good. Let's take Lucas from USC. He's an upside guy. I also like Ndame Tucker a lot too, but he didn't have a good combine, so I don't know. He might go lower than people think.
Okay. And one more pick. Haven't taken a corner in the last 2 mocks.
Yeah. What about safety? What safeties are on board?
Moore,
Okay.
Scott,
Yeah, I don't like any of these guys. All right, I guess we'll go back to
Jacoby
corner.
Thomas is here.
Yeah. I guess we'll go corner.
The Stukes might be here. Sometimes Preston Hodge is here.
I like.
Oh, wait,
Preston
but
Hodge.
he would be a slot, and you guys are, never mind.
Yeah, we already have a slot. Oh, Chandler Rivers is there. Let's take Chandler Rivers. I like Chandler Rivers a lot.
Okay, and then one more pick in round 4.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take Zane Durant. He had a good combine. Okay, here we go. Let's take Caleb Banks. Let's get a
I
little.
knew who you were going to take. I'm learning who you like.
Yeah. Well, Caleb Banks is probably one of the highest upside players in the class. I'm not saying he's guaranteed to be a great NFL player. There's a lot of risk in taking him. I do like him. Chris Bell, I like, but we took Chris Bell already, didn't we? In this?
Well, not during Fanatic mode.
Okay. Let's take Chris Bell here, because that'd be. I would smoke a celebratory cigar. I don't even smoke, but I'd smoke a celebratory cigar. They took Caleb Banks and Chris Bell, and I know most Niner fans probably disagree with that sentiment, but yeah. Okay. I like.
Now you're looking at a round 3 board here.
Who's at safety here?
Wheatley, Clark, Husky is here. Smith is here.
I know people love Wheatley. I think Clark is more of a 49er safety, though. Let's take Bud Clark. I just don't think Wheatley fits as much as Clark in their specific scheme. Now, again, their scheme's going to change, obviously, with Raheem Morris coming in. But yeah, it's not going to differentiate as much as people think. Like, I don't think they moved to full 3-4 under Raheem Morris.
Yeah. Haven't done any offensive linemen in this one.
Yeah, let's take a risk on Isaiah World here and hope he can learn behind Trent.
It's a good round 4 pick.
But yeah, he's 6'8", 350 or whatever, you know.
Yeah,
and he has quicker feet than I think a lot of people give him credit for. I like Isaiah World. I mean, he was a preseason round 1 guy.
Haven't taken an edge yet in this one either.
Yeah, let's take Ndame Tucker. I love Ndame Tucker. I still do. I don't care that he didn't test great at the combine. Okay, here's a guy that obviously we see that 49ers fans like a lot. Let's take Harold Perkins here.
Katron Allen dropped in this one.
Oh yeah, let's say Katron Allen, because that's a guy that I know for a fact John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan are going to love, and they're going to take a running back. It's just a matter of whether it's round 3, 4, or 5.
Okay, and I didn't mean to interrupt you. You were about to go make a pick, but yeah, my advice to anybody doing this with Fanatic mode, it's do it when you can take your time and you want to hunt the boards. The players are going to be in an order, so anybody that is not picked is going to drop. Now, sometimes they drop really low. Sometimes they're only going to drop a little. You want to look. The simulator is very positive. The players you pick always move up.
Yeah.
Right. And I'll give a demonstration as to the power of that in a minute. But this is the 4th and final mock for Fanatic mode. So what are your thoughts here?
All right, let's go to page 2 on this. I don't want to take any of these guys. I want to do something a little different here. Probably take someone that, okay. I think they're genuinely considering this guy, and I think it would be very, very, I would just say, I do like R. Mason Thomas a lot, but let's take Zion Young.
I was guessing. I had a 50-50 shot as to who you were going to say.
Yeah,
you were going to be Young or R. Mason
R. Mason Thomas. I don't think they're going to. He is 6'2". Zion Young's 6'5", so I think they prefer taller edge rushers. That's the only difference. Okay. I'm interested. You know what's interesting? I didn't see Cassius Howell once in round 1, where the 49ers picked. In round 1, at least. So
where is
I don't
he
know
going
where he
right
went
now?
On the board, but
he's pretty high on the Ravens board.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. I think the Niners would, even though he's shorter, pure pass rush kind of seems like Raheem Morris's type of guy. Like a James Pierce, who probably doesn't play anymore, but Cassius Howell is really good. Okay. In this scenario, so round 1, we took Zion Young. They're not going to go edge here. They're not, what about O-line? Let's see, interior and regular. Okay. Let's take a guy that I think I'm higher on the consensus. Bo Stevens. We haven't taken him yet. I like him a lot. And they have a connection to Iowa guys. They took Connor Colby last year. They like Jennings Dunker. I know that. They like Bo Stevens, and I think they like Logan Jones as well. Can't go wrong drafting an Iowa offensive lineman.
So Young, Stevens, rounds 1 and 2. Haven't taken a wide receiver yet. Jacoby Lane is there in round 3.
Yep, let's take Jacoby Lane. I like Jacoby Lane. You get him in round 2, I think it's a good pick. You get him in round 3, it's a steal. It's funny because
you're one of the 3 highest people I've podcasted with on Lane.
That's good. By the way, the PFF simulator has Lane in like round 5. So it's weird. It's interesting. That's big board though. That's not human behavior. It's completely different simulator. Okay, let's see.
So safety, you were looking at so Wheatley to me in round 4. This should be where there's going to be a huge run on safeties. So I wanted to point that out. Corner, Dixon's here. Colin Wright.
I'm glad you didn't highlight Dominique Jackson because he's not going to be a good NFL player probably, even though he's fast. I just don't think he can play corner.
But he didn't even he was a big combine disappointment. We thought he was going to blow up the combine. He was ordinary for somebody that's supposed to be fast.
Well, he was a 5-star guy. He just never kind of reached his potential. I just don't think he's that good of a player personally.
Price Sox available round 4. Round 4 might be a little too high, but Price Sox is going to go in either round 4 or round 5.
He's good. Let's take Wheatley here. I know I mentioned Bud Clark's more of a safety for the Niners, but I mean, if Wheatley's there in round 4, he's easily the best player on the board there.
So Young, Stevens, Lane, Wheatley.
Yeah.
You get 2 more picks.
Okay. Let's take a guy. I know we took Claiborne in the past. Let's take Kalen Black here. I think he'd be a good complement to Jordan James and Christian McCaffrey. They cannot get McCaffrey 500 carries again.
And then your last pick, I'm looking to see, you've taken edge, but you haven't taken a defensive lineman. Any of these round 4 defensive linemen strike you as being a really good value pick?
Yeah. The D lineman from Cincinnati is really good. I like him. Yeah, let's take him.
Okay. So you see a lot of D grades. That just means that you're the first one to pick them for the 49ers. This looks a lot like my college report cards. Few A's, lots of C's and D's. So let me show a couple things. I mean, we cruised through that. I didn't think we were going to get through it that fast. We could have done more. If you do fanatic mode and you set it to 8, somewhere around Mach 6 or 7, more than likely in round 2, you're going to have an oh crap, because all the guys that you want are off the board and you have to kind of rethink your mind. But if you go to, so I went to team needs, everybody. So I went to the team needs section of the website. I'm scrolling down to the 49ers. And there's a player list here. So let's go take a look at Rutledge. So he was 139 when he was drafted. He moved up to 69. Wow. Claiborne was 168. He moved up to 126. Emmanuel McNeil Warren, he was 60 the first time we took him. We selected him at least 2 or 3 times, and he moved up to 39.
Yeah.
Okay. So players move up when you pick them. Okay. And you say, okay, so what? So I am going to do a mock for a different team. I'm going to do a mock for Seattle. I'm not doing that to troll 49ers fans. I'm doing it because Seattle only has 4 picks. But we don't care who we pick for Seattle. I'll make decent picks. But what we want to do is
make horrible picks for Seattle. And
what we want to do is see who San Francisco takes and see how much control of the board that we have. So San Francisco in round 1 took Cooper Jr. And I'm going to take TJ Parker there.
God, I would hate that pick if he's there. He's so good.
San Francisco took Akis. Or wait, San Francisco took Derek Moore. You did that. He was not. Blake Miller was higher on the board. Miller fell to the Rams.
Wow.
Right?
I wouldn't like
so
that
by
either.
So by you picking Moore in that second round challenge, and then you picked him again when we did Fanatic mode, that's how Moore got there.
I think it's funny Chris Bell is there at 62 for the Broncos because I've heard they're considering him at 30 as well. So that would be a perfect thing for them if he fell all the way to 62 for them. There's Bo Stevens.
You did that. Stevens wasn't that high. That's all you, Brandon.
There we go.
That's how he got there.
Let's go. God, that'd be a great pick, by the way. Lance's brother is a beast. 6'4", 210, 4.34, 40, 2,000 yards in his career at North Dakota State. He's going to be a good pro.
Tucker just went to the 49ers in round 5. You did that.
There we go. That's great.
Guess what am I going to do here? They need a corner. Why not? Yeah, we'll do that one. Okay, so now we're going to go check out rounds 4, 5, and 6 once the mock ends to see who the 49ers took. So in round 4, San Francisco took Bud Clark. Recognize that pick?
Yep. There we go.
Crownover, that was not one of yours.
Nope.
Durant was.
Yep.
Round 5, they took Harold Perkins. That was not one of yours.
I took him once, I think. But yeah.
I'm looking to see if they have any other round 5 picks.
No, and they don't have 6 or 7. I know that.
Okay. But I saw Tucker go. Would that have been round 5? They have 2 round 5 picks.
I think they have 1. They have 3 round 4 picks, 1 round 3. Oh, he went right after. That's why.
Okay. So that's what I saw. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So just notice, Brandon, you only did so each Fanatic mode is its own unique mock draft, right? We just string them together so that it makes you pick unique players. So there were some of those guys like Bud Clark, you only picked once. And as soon as you picked him once, he's going to the 49ers if somebody's doing a mock. So that means they would have to pick him ahead of the 49ers 4th round pick.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, right? So
yeah.
That's the basic concept of this simulator. So while you don't know everybody in the internet that's using it, Draft Professor, we have 85 podcasters. And then I do podcasts like this with people I find from every team. I try to look at people's Twitter to say, do I think their Twitter makes them look like they know what they're talking about? It's hit and miss sometimes.
Yeah, it's a good strategy.
So do you want to take a minute, introduce yourself to the Draft Professor audience and let them know who you are and all of the content that you make?
Yeah, I'm Brandon Deutsch. I do a lot of 49ers content on YouTube and Twitter, but primarily on TikTok is where I have my biggest following. Do a lot of fantasy football and NFL draft stuff. So TikTok, I think almost 110,000 followers. It's definitely my biggest page. I'm not that active on Twitter, or X rather. Trying to get more active. I need to post more on X. I've been really bad about that. I lost my old account last year because I was doing a live stream of the NFL draft and I showed some footage from the NFL draft, but not live. It was on a little bit of a delay and they still banned my account for that. So I advise anybody that's trying to, even if it's on delay, if you want to show footage during draft shows, be careful because someone definitely reported it. So I had to make a new account. So new to X last year from this specific page.
That's really good advice because we do live stream during the draft.
Well, you can just don't be careful with the footage of
Yes.
the TV and stuff, because even though I showed it on delay, I still got knocked and I lost my entire page. And it wasn't like I didn't have a substantial follower count there before. It was like a couple thousand, right? But it wasn't like massive to begin with comparatively to the other pages. But still, it was annoying because I'd rebuild from zero, you know?
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, I want to say thank you. We have several 49ers fans here. So, Kenny, thanks for stopping by. And like MLS, I know we've interacted. I don't know if we've interacted on YouTube or if we've interacted on Twitter, but I recognize. Do you podcast with Ryan Sparks? Maybe I just figured it out. I think I know. So like Shadow Teams, Ryan Sparks, that's popping into my head. So thank you for stopping by. We're here at Draft Professor every day, so we podcast every day. So we do 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern shows live Monday through Thursday, shows Saturday morning, shows Sunday morning.
Right.
And then we do mock draft shows like this. We have Epic Mock 26, which is a 32 podcaster mock draft. So there will be somebody running a 49ers podcast feed. We're also going to have a Draft Professor feed covering the whole event. So whether you want to look at your team's perspective or you want to hear what people are saying about the draft as a whole, there will be 33 podcasts for you to choose from at any given time, April 9th, 10th, and 11th. So,
there you go.
That's a lot of fun. We do this every year. It's a lot of fun. And like I said, Draft Professor is a group of 85 podcasters. We podcast on the draft year round. So there's already a couple of draft professors that have stopped on this class and they're already, talking about Jeremiah Smith. So
what is the best? It is going to be like the best class of all time in 27. So
yeah, there's Dylan Stewart, the edge from South Carolina, Jeremiah Smith. Theoretically, the quarterback should be better. But we say that every year. We said last year that the quarterback class this year was going to be better, but I don't know that it is.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a quarterback class where you look in like 10 years and you're like, wow, that was a better class than we thought. Because I think Simpson, Mendoza will both succeed. Aller, it's contingent upon where he goes, right? Like there are very few places where he can succeed. But I think, he is kind of like a lottery ticket prospect. So I think there's a few. Beck should be good right away. He's played a bazillion college games. So like if he could spot start, I don't know about anybody else.
I'm a large Halen Green. When it comes to drafting quarterbacks, bet on the ceiling.
Yeah, Aller has an insane ceiling. There's no doubt about that. Yeah.
So with Alar and Green, I think you should pick them day 2. I think they should be really high day 2 picks. And the key is don't play them immediately. They might play year 1, but don't play them week 1, year 1.
Oh, and I don't even think Mendoza should play week 1, year 1. Yeah, Chambliss got screwed because I think Chambliss, they have that case. The court said that he's eligible, but like the NCAA is now appealing that decision. And if they win that appeal, he's screwed, right? Because he didn't go to the combine. So then he would have to, I guess, sign I don't even know if he could declare this late.
Well, it would be like a supplemental draft.
Yeah, right.
But ultimately, like there's a supplemental draft most years, and most of the time players go unpicked because the way like a supplemental draft works is they'll ask every team, do you want to take the player in round 1 of the supplemental draft? They say no. Then they'll ask round 2, and they go around to all 32 teams, and they do the same thing for round 3, round 4. And if we say, okay, we want Trinidad Chambliss round 4, we have to give up our 4th round pick next year to take Chambliss in the supplemental draft. No team is going to do that. No team is going to give that pick up. So I think Chambliss, if he can't go to school, we're either going to see him in Canada or the UFL, because by the time the supplemental draft happens, teams have already cleared through minicamp. He's already going to have missed a portion of his off-season program. and he's going to need work anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like you then have to risk having him on your practice squad. But if you're on the practice squad, anybody could pluck you off. So it's realistically, he should have just said, I'm going to the NFL earlier and just been more decisive.
Yeah, I agree. I also think like him coming back. I mean, he's already 24 almost, like, and it's a better quarterback class, quote unquote, next year. I know he could make money in NIL, but I feel like he could have probably been the QB 3 or 4. Like, could have gone day 2, day 3 for sure in this year's draft. So who knows? We'll see if the decision hurts him and whether it'll hurt Dante Moore too by going back. We'll see.
Well, if Dante Moore doesn't go to the Jets, there's no way it hurt him going back.
Yeah.
Right. I think that was all about, I don't want to be a New York Jet, but more, my opinion, if any other team had the second pick other than the Jets, I think
he
Moore
would have declared. Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
I agree.
Yep.
I agree completely.
So for Brandon, myself, and the 85 podcasters at the Draft Professor, thank you so much for tuning in. We have another podcast very similar to this, which will be the Minnesota Vikings in 30 minutes. So buckle up for that one. But thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you on a podcast again soon. Good night, everybody.